TelecomTV, where ICT connects.
Hello, I'm Martin Warwick from TelecomTV, reporting from California at ETSI's fourth meeting of its NFV ISG. One thing is very clear from talking to people here. NFV isn't your usual vendor-driven technology change. In point of fact, it's not vendor-driven at all. The service providers are cracking the whip this time, and equipment and system vendors just have to jump. Here are some representatives from Juniper on how they have approached the area and how they are going to help service providers drive better business outcomes with it.
Juniper's been involved in making the network more programmable. From our inception, where we first started envisioning the separation of the data in the control plane, Juniper has been on the vanguard of making networks more programmable and more flexible. And so this has been a multi-year evolution, and I think you're seeing with NFV a continuation of that trend. And so I think, first and foremost, it very much fits in with the ethos of Juniper, our direction, our strategic intent on how do we add value to the service providers. So that's one. I think, two, we have a very tight relationship with the major service providers out there today. And so working with them hand in hand to create the systems and the process to be able to evolve the network is critical. And third, I'd say, fully understanding the customer's business. We have been working with service providers since our inception, and so we understand the challenges, but also the capabilities that service providers bring to the marketplace. And so understanding their business, understanding their challenges has allowed us to create some pretty exciting and pretty innovative products, all the way from some of the MX routers that we've created to the PTX switches to Contrail, which was announced earlier this year, which was a great innovation in SDN, and you'll see more coming out from Juniper around virtualization, SDN, and NFV.
So we now have a live shipping product, an SDN controller, and more vendors are going to go in the same direction. What you get by bringing a product like Contrail, which is the SDN controller, or the other name people refer to as a virtual software overlay, is the ability, it gives you the primary building blocks in order to roll these services much more quickly, in order to be able to stitch a lot of these virtual network functions together in a concept which is actually called dynamic service chaining, and gives service providers the ability to launch the services much more quickly.
I like the idea of being customer-led. I like initiatives that are customer-led. I think that gives us a great focus. There's a tremendous contribution from the vendor community to that thought and that leadership that's coming from our customers, and we're working very together in harmony with them to develop the things we need for the future. Thinking vendors, people that are really looking beyond the horizon, are realizing that things are going to have to change significantly. And there are new value chains. There's new value that you can create. There are new things that you can create that you can make money as a vendor on. Right? You don't expect things to be as they are today. Expect that things will change. Throughout my life, things have constantly changed. Go with the change. Go with the change. Embrace the change. You'll find new value chains, new value that you can create with the customers, and that's where we are.
You're from the mobility group within Juniper. Do you see regional and national differentiations as far as NFV is concerned in the mobile market?
There seems to be a real trend, specifically in the mobile space, around operators who've embraced LTE. One of the things that we saw early on in the move to LTE was there was either this sort of revolutionary approach or an evolutionary approach. For the operators who took the revolutionary approach, they see LTE as a new way to build their networks, a new way to construct. They see the existing approach of monolithic systems and sort of one-size-fits-all packages just isn't going to cut it in a world where everybody has 200 megabits or half a gigabit of traffic coming to their phones. They need to be much more scalability, much more ability to respond to changing demands in the network. And the only way to do that is through virtualization. Do you have any customer feedback from the trials and what you're doing with NFV out there in the marketplace? We're hearing quite a bit about this concept of re-architecting the network, of building it now from the ground up, to start over again. Almost like 2G and 3G was practice. We were starting, and now what we're really building is a true mobile internet with multi-megabit speeds. And with that, the ability to move work around the network, to take advantage of the benefits of virtualization and push things further and further out to the edge, to move from 2 or 3 centralized locations to 50 or hundreds of centralized locations across the country, and really push the value, the network value out closer to the consumer, so the consumer gets a much better experience. You know, we spent a lot of years taking in information about the network and hearing what customers are doing or seeing, you know, getting into the analytics side of things. I think now is the time for us to take that information, the analytics, what customers are doing, and turn it back around and give customers the experience based on it. Have the network actually respond to what people are doing. Everybody who was a competitor in one deal becomes a partner in the next deal. We all need the same relationships, the same ecosystems to pull this together. It's such a huge problem. It's such a huge issue that needs to be addressed across the industry. Making code open, making products open and available just lets us draw the best out of the industry, lets us work with best of breed input from service providers, from our competitors, all those sorts of things. I think that's why we're seeing so much traction in the open movement, open source movement. One of the reasons why Juniper got really involved through Open Contrail, which is our program to make our SDN controller open source. We're really looking for the industry to make this product better and to really bring out the best.
One of the things we did recently working with Juniper was to take OpenStack, which is one of the common pieces of software for the cloud world, and IBM's Smart Cloud Orchestrator, and integrate that into Juniper's Contrail SDN environment so that we could show the automatic provisioning of new workloads. And we think that's a sort of a valuable contribution to this area, because that's the sort of proof point that an operator will want to see, to say this technology can work, and not just for a single vendor. And of course we aim to work with all of our partners in this space to bring them into that carrier software-defined environment.
TelecomTV, where ICT connects.